Hello, welcome back to another video, and today we'll be going through the limited unit tier list for the limited selector that we'll be getting from the carrot event. So first of all, I'll divide them into a couple categories. First of all is the must pick if you don't have, usable ones, niche, PvE only, and the waifu tier, the D tier. So basically you only pick this if you don't have any of the top. I mean, you already have most of the top unit, man. Okay. SSB after the balance patch, she has been getting a lot of traction. She is really good into aggro draft, and also as an anti-cleave. If you draft her properly, she works really well. So let's say if you are players that have no answer into aggro players and you have no answer into cleave, she might be your choice. Next, DN. After DN buff, you have been seeing her pick very often. She has very strong buff as she provides defense penetration and anti-crit, one of the strongest buffer in the game right now. So if you don't have both of them, definitely get one of them. While next category will be the usable ones. We see a lot of F10 and Holiday Yufin. The reason why F10 is really good right now because she lands so much debuff, she overloads your enemy with those provokes that it helps you to win games. While for Holiday Yufin wise, we have been seeing a lot of Lidica cleavers out there, and she's definitely one of the answer against Holiday Yufin. If you have no answer against her or you plan to pre-ban her, then you might just pick other units. While when we look at the niche tier list right here, alright, we'll be seeing Cicera, Sharklet, Armid, and Blidica. These 4 units, you can pick them if you decided to go for the cleaver route. I mean, if you decide to play as a cleavers, yes, I'll just put these 3. Now, hold on. Okay, definitely Blidica is the most important one for cleavers right now. Then followed by Cicera, Sharklet, Armid, not that much being used, because there's way better cleave openers right now compared to Armid. While Gala is kind of niche right now because Elenaf is just running on every match. That's why Gala kind of fell off. While Landy, we will see a lot of Landy being used, especially against people who draft Yen. But the problem with it is Landy is pretty much a gear gap unit, so if your opponent draft the end, you're pretty much drafting Landy just to say that I'm gear capping you, that I can kill your team by luck, or I'm killing your team through anti-crit. Next, for PvE only, definitely Cerise is very good for your Expo, while Biblis is really good for your Nightmare raid. Then yes, the bottom 3s are just waifu pick. I mean, Liti is still being used a bit in RTA, but I mean, when it comes to picking Liti, there's definitely like 10,000 other units that's way better to pick on her spot. While Luluka, yes, rarely being seen, since after C. Lilius is not really being picked anymore, we don't see her that much, while Luna does literally nothing. So basically, that's the limited unit tier list. Alright, here comes to the limited artifact part. So if you guys are picking SSP, definitely you want to take drinks. This is the only artifact she is best in slot for. So if you have already, I mean, you have this drink, I would say next go for Guiding Light. I would say Guiding Light, you need at least like 3 to 4 copies. If you have about 3 to 4 copies, the next one I'll go for is a Fairy Tale of Nightmare. This artifact is really strong right now, especially if you're using Haseti, Arya, Soli, and you're up against, you know, unit like Tori, unit like ML Celine and stuff, where they are weak to all those prop damages. So next, we'll move on to the usable parts. If you have all 3 above, I'll go for Soulcon, where you need about 2 to 3 copies of Soulcon and 2 to 3 copies of Prayer of Solitude. The reason why Soulcon is good is just because CR push for Soul Viewers, it's really good in RTA, as you can disrupt the momentum of your enemies by pushing up your Soul Viewers. And while for Prayers of Solitude, it's just really good for HP scaling bruisers. such as like Alencia, Edward, and stuff like that. So this is not a bad artifact to pick up if you already have like 4 of those above. While for the niche one, I'll say that is niche is just because they are mainly for cleavers and they are mainly for specific units. It's just like these seductive flowers. If you're picking blooming Lydica, definitely you want to pick an artifact up along. And if you are aiming for Caesarea, this Caesarea artifact is really good, and there's 2 units that use this, which is Caesarea and Pirate Captain Flank. So you might need to have like 2 maxed out copy for this, while Wall of Order is just being buffed recently and is one of the best in slot for green Landy. And we might see some users if they decided to buff Opsic too. So you might need like about 2 copies for this. While Matured Sunglasses, I would say pretty good for damage tanks, but that's a lot of artifact that you can use besides this. While if you're going for Armid, Fan of Light and Dark is pretty good on her for top speed Armid. But mostly if you're playing a mid-speed Armid about 300 to 305, I would still recommend going for Soulcon Armid instead of Fan of Light and Dark. While if you already have everything above, I would say just go Draco Plate. You don't need a lot of Draco Plate, to be honest. I did not use any of my Draco Plate now. But this Hostess of Banquet is kind of interesting because especially for ER unit, and since this artifact provides damage and ER, so it's very suitable for units such as like ER BBK, ER Pekron, ER ML Celine. It works really well with them. And definitely if you're going for Biblis, then you go for the Old Gardening Shear. While you can live without these 2, so pretty much you really have everything here. Just get duplicates for them, since you need like about 3 Nightmare Fairy Tales, about 3 to 5 Guiding Lights, need at least like 2 Soul Cons, about 2 Prayers. Definitely this is one. You need 2 copies of Deep Sea, about 2 copies of Wall of Order, probably 1 copy of Mature Sunglass to 2 copies is fine. Then while Fan of Light and Dark, you just need 1 copy. Hostess of Banquet, I would say 1 copy is enough, but why not get a 2nd copy if you already have everything? Draco Plate, forget about it. Garden Shears, yeah, much you can forget about it. But I mean, you can get at least 1 copies of this too if you already have everything up here. And yep, let's wrap up that's the end. And yep, hope you guys can decide what to pick, and that's all. Peace. Ta-ta.